I'm Steve Carell. Hey, I'm on a podcast right now. I can't believe that I'm on it right now talking to you. Hey! I shout a lot sometimes and then I get into this voice where I sound like I'm gonna cry. What makes me want to cry is the fact that podcasts, on the whole, are actually done by corporations and by evil, evil people. You should really listen to the podcasts that are done independently. I was in 40-Year-Old Virgin and the Office TV show where I was on it for a long time and then I left and it crumbled. It went to crap. Thank you. On with the show.
This show is clean, pretty much.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Episode 831. Hello, it's Mike Matthews, broadcasting from the last place on Earth, located somewhere in Podcaster Valley, California. Today, it is part 2 of my Into an Interview with the Berkeley band Mullerette. Plus, we hear from Benita, the Disgruntled Fiddle Player, the Brewmaster, and a modern billionaire has found an amazing lost treasure. Does Indiana Jones swoop in and then steal the treasure before the billionaire uses it for world domination?
Mike's Daily Podcast.
We find out on this show. And on the last show, Shelley Shuhart had a strange relationship equation.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Either Johnny Galecki or Jared Padalecki. We'll find out more about on this show. My last roommate was a knife snob. He was in his early 20s and boasted doing a great sushi job, but I never saw sushi, just a bunch of spaghetti coming out of the jar. Why do you need a sharp knife to eat something made by Chef Boyardee? But that must have been his conceited 20s phase.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Thing. Lately, I've been addicted to the TV show Psych, watching every thing
Mike's
that takes place
Daily
in Santa Barbara.
Podcast.
I went to UCSB.
Yeah!
And they did something on the... All right, I've been watching like the past... So I started from the beginning. I'm at season 3.5 somewhere. And they finally start mispronouncing the names. Mispronouncing big time. Instead of Amapamu, they say Amapamu. Like, it's a Pumu, which I thought was interesting. And then instead of saying Cabrillo, they actually said Cabrillo. I was like, oh, look who just walked in. Hi, Mike. It's Benita, the rodeo queen. Hi, how you doing?
And it's a disgruntled fiddle player. Tell you what.
What?
If it's not Cabrillo, then how come that town south of Santa Barbara is called Camarillo?
Well, that is a very good question.
And how about Amarillo, Texas?
All right, well, the 2 L's are supposed to be a Y sound in the Spanish vernacular.
Verno what? I love Vern Gosden. He's saying I'm going to hire a wino to decorate our home.
No, he didn't. That was David Frizzell.
What the? Mark, you're correcting me left and right. I'm about to punch you.
I bet you can't. You missed.
Dang it.
Look who else just walked in.
Hello, Mike. I make the root beer. I'm the brewmaster. Oh, boy.
Brewmaster, what root beer did you make today?
Mike, I made just any old root beer because I'm not a food snob.
Very good. Yeah. I had a roommate late last year who was always talking about, yeah, I make sushi. And you got to use a really sharp knife. This knife you have, Mike, is crap. It's got to be super sharp, and it's got to be sharpened by a wizard underneath the house in somebody's basement, and you have to have it done perfectly. And it's got to be done at Shocks or something, and you got to have it really sharp to make the sushi. And then he never ate sushi. He ate all the time. It was boiling the pasta, getting the Prego out of the jar. That's all he ate. And he ate like so much carb stuff. I would have liked to have seen some freshly made sushi around the house, but it never, ever happened. Mark, what are you trying to say? That you don't like food snobs? Basically, Benita, yeah. You know, are you a food snob? Well, I won't eat potato chips anymore, but that's just because they're bad for my health. But I like food of all types. Exactly. Food is great. If it's bad for you, That's a whole other thing. You got to take into account your health, and you got to take into account your morals. Do you believe in killing animals, etc., and putting the planet at risk with a certain type of food production? But if you like a food, that's all that matters. And who gives a ding-dong rat's butt if it's like some kind of special hoity-toity food that comes from some other part of the... You know what? It's like, who cares? And if I'm a guy that doesn't have sharp knives, well, then I sure chop a lot of frickin' onions and carrots and tomatoes and such. Well, maybe not carrots. But I make a lot of salads is the point. I use my knives, damn it. Yeah, let's hear it for knives and anti-food snob people. Snobbery.
Mock, you want to go get some pickled pig feet?
Yeah, that's just not something I can get into. Hey, I will gladly watch Anthony Bourdain and all those other food channel, travel channel nuts that eat bizarre foods. I'll watch that stuff and go, oh, that's an interesting cultural thing. But, man, I'm not going to be sitting there going... Oh, this is a super grade. This didn't come out of a foo-foo shishi shop and cost $20 an ounce. Mark, I've been to a foo-foo shishi shop. They're real nice in there, except they didn't like my cowboy hat, so I had to take it off. And then I killed a ceiling fan. Love that joke. It's not a joke, it really happened. No, it's a Jeff Foxworthy joke. No, it really happened. All right, well, I feel bad for the ceiling fan. Me too. Bye, foo-foo shishi sucks. Well, a guy that probably eats a lot of foo-foo shishi is Paul Allen, the Microsoft co-founder. And he has found the sunken Japanese warship Musashi, one of the largest battleships ever built, where it was sunk during World War II off the coast of the Philippines, and he found it there today. The team used Allen's yacht, the MY Octopus, relying on the ship's advanced technology, historical records, and detailed topographical data to discover and photograph the warship in the Siberian Sea on Sunday, ending a decades-long mystery about its exact location. And also trying like heck to get on the TV show, the History Myth Busters. Wait, what's it called? History Myth... Wait, hang on, I gotta find it.
Later that day.
Myth Hunters! Fascinating show. Watch that on Netflix too. So yeah, that's what Paul Allen has got himself on that show for sure. The U.S. aircraft sunk the Musashi back in 1944, killing more than 1,000 Japanese, or about half the vessel's crew. Mr. Allen has been searching for the Musashi for more than 8 years, and its discovery will not only help fill in the narrative of the World War II's Pacific Theater, but bring closure to the families of those lost, he said on a statement on his website. The Musashi... Yes, he referred to himself in the third person. I guess he can, because he's a freaking billionaire. The Musashi, which was named after a province in Japan, was commissioned in August of 1942. Yes, so it ran a total of 2 years and then was gone. Its sister ship, the Yamamoto, and the Musashi were both considered the heaviest and most heavily armed battleships ever built. It weighed nearly 73,000 tons when fully loaded. And it had 9 46-centimeter Type 94 main guns, along with aircraft and other features. It was sunk just before one of the biggest naval battles in history, pitting American and Australian forces against the Japanese. This, according to Reuters. What do you think about all this? Finding ancient lost ships, mispronouncing Santa Barbara street names. Okay, I've mispronounced the name or two, sure. But it's funny when you're a big fan of the town. Oh, and they're not even shooting the show in that town. They're shooting it in Canada. But they've somehow really made them look similar, except for the fact that the place in Canada's got 1 billion trees, and Santa Barbara doesn't have quite so many trees, or so much pine trees at least. They've got a lot of palm trees and such. And what do you think about food snobs? Are you one? And what's your reason for being a food snob? Or not being a food snob. Email me, mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. We read your comments on the section emails from email. Also email me there if you'd like to be a guest on the show or if you would like to sponsor the show, mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. And you can listen to the show on iTunes. If you do that, rate and comment on the show. If you do that, more people find out about us, and then we don't languish in obscurity, like Steve Carell was talking about at the beginning of the show. Yeah, I miss Steve Carell on The Office too. And you can also listen to the show on YouTube, SoundCloud, TuneIn, the TuneIn radio app, Stitcher, Podomatic, Mixcloud, Spreaker, Player FM. And you can share this show through, of course, Facebook. Like the Facebook page when I post a new show. Share it with your friends and more people find out about us. We're also on Twitter. Follow us on Twitter, and when I post tweet, retweet that to your friends, and more people find out about us that way too. We're also on Instagram, Yelp, Tumblr, and we also have the blog, the Daily Podcast Picture, all my past interviews there at mikesdailypodcast.com, and a link to Amazon. If you're going to ever buy anything on Amazon, go through mikesdailypodcast.com first and click on that Amazon link there. And when you do that, we get a little bit from what you buy. Just a little bit, and it's a great way to support this show. MikesDailyPodcast.com.
Into an interview.
I'm speaking with Lupe and Joey Muller of the band Mullerette, and we have been talking about how they've got their amazing sound, and when I would love to see you guys play at another coffee house. I want to go on a coffee house tour with you, and we'll play coffee houses all around the world, and you guys will play at them, and I guess I'll be the guy that helps carry the Wurlitzer.
Yeah, if you can just book the shows too, then we're there.
Well, now you guys were like models, weren't you, beforehand? Because you're both like, you look like you guys were models at one point. In the words of Zoolander, you guys are really, really good looking.
Thank you.
Does that play into your music at all?
No, I don't think so. Thank you for the compliment.
There's a full body mirror that we keep on the side of the stage.
That's right.
So when you see us looking over to the side like rock stars often do, we're just checking ourselves out.
And you got the fan going and blowing your hair and
Sure.
Well, how did you guys get into music and learn how to play your instruments?
I'll let you start.
For me, it's just always been there. Since I was 3 years old, there was a piano in the house where I was growing up, and my older brother, 12 years older than I am, would play by ear just kind of songs of his day, and I think that would have been like Elton John and maybe The Who, things like that. And so one day, at age 3, I sat down at the piano, which was normally in a room that they had kept locked, so that the toddler wouldn't go in and break something, I guess. The story just goes that I played nursery rhymes kind of right away, the songs of my day, and they just never locked the piano room ever again. So, yeah, that's kind of how I did it.
Guitar was my first instrument, and I started playing more when I was a teenager, but I didn't grow up necessarily in a very musical family. My grandfather played, jazz guitar, but I think also as a kid, I had a very low voice, and, I had 3 sisters, and they all had very high voices. And my mom has this like tapes, of my sister singing, and then in the back, what it sounds like a 50-year-old smoker, and it's like me being 4, me like, hi. So I always had this low voice. I wasn't necessarily encouraged to sing or anything. So and I always was a little bit like we were talking after the show, I was always a little kind of private, with my music. So even after I met Joey, it took a while for us to for me to play for him or for us to play together.
Yeah. We kind of come at music from 2 very, very different angles,
Yeah.
And I will admit that's caused tension for us in the past, like if we've been trying to work out something on for a show or for a recording, but breaking through that and, discovering what comes out on the other side is beautiful, and it's always, of course, worth it.
Wow. So, but you both had, you were playing from a young age, both of you. It's so cool that you guys were...
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I mean, we both are sort of unschooled, musicians. We not have music schooling. Well, I guess you did in college a little bit.
Yeah, not really. I didn't really. No, I'm mostly self-taught, you.
Yeah.
That's neat. And I wanted to play the song "Mermaid." What was the inspiration for this one?
Well, here goes. So Joey's parents were visiting. They're from Florida, and we were talking in the beginning, and they were visiting. They were here for 10 days or so, and they're very positive, sunny, people. And I think I can be dark at times, and I was... It is a love song for Joey, and I think because he understands, where I come from sometimes, and I don't know. It was funny. They were here for 10 days, and everything was so great and happy, and I just needed to write a little dark song.
Yeah.
I was reading a nice nin poem, that talk about being a mermaid and being okay with sort of the depths of the sea, and rather than being shallow, or I don't know, it was something like that. That poem kind of inspired me, and I like the imagery of mermaids, and I guess I felt that way too, so it was fun.
And a mermaid is a woman with two separate parts. She can be on top of the surface where it's sunny, and she can go and swim because she's got that thing on her feet thingy, and go down onto the and see the depths of the dark oceans and the whales and everything down there. The Leviathan. Oh, I had and everything else down there. So once again we get into the wave imagery here.
The ocean.
Perfect. Well, who better to do a song about a mermaid than Mullerette? My gosh. Okay, well, let's play it, and let's go surfing. Now everybody's learning how. No, we're going to go into the ocean and hear about the mermaid here. It's Mullerette on Mike's Daily Podcast.
Must be a mermaid, a siren, a painter, for I'm not afraid of the turbid, the death and the dark, the waves to the right. You must be my shipmate, willingly jump on my crusade, even when you are afraid of the turbid, the death and the dark, the waves of love. Will you sail with me into a siren sea? Tide is rough, but the shore will be the place where I must be a mermaid, a siren, a painter, for I'm not afraid of the waves of the
The beautiful voice of Lupe Muller as we go outside of the last place on earth where we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcastro Valley, California. Tomorrow, part 3 of my Into an Interview with Lupe and Joey Muller of the band Mullerette.
And here's today's podcast picture.
And here in Podcastro Valley, we got a lot of great places you can walk your dog. I like to walk Basil the Boxer all over the place. As you can tell, he loves it too. And one of the places is 5 Canyons. Gosh, you can walk forever and not see anybody. You'll see some houses like you see in the picture. But it's got a great view of, actually that view of me, behind me there is, you can see 580, and then a little bit of the bay. It was hazy. It's been hazy a lot. Now, I think today is clearer. I can't really tell from where we are here at the last place on earth. But I can tell you that it's a great hike, and it's so green right now. Just watch out for the cows if you have a dog. Put the dog on a leash when you're around the cows, because it is an instinct in the dog to herd that cow. It is bred into every single dog. I don't care what size. Even if it's the tiniest little teacup thingy, it'll want to herd that cow. So watch the dogs around the cows and enjoy the nice walk there at 5 Canyons Park in Podcastro Valley. Or is it Hayward? Or is it Amapamu? Amu. Pamu. See that picture at Mike'sDailyPodcast.com. Mike, that looks beautiful. I love cows. That's why I'm also a cowgirl, and I want a rodeo, because I'm a rodeo queen. I think I got some of that. Yeah.
Mark, she gets a little bit excited with all this discussion about cows. She wants to hop up on her horse Nilly and herd them, you know, to ride her with the lasso and all that such.
Ah. Sounds very cool. Sounds very California. You know, we were built on with ranches and agriculture and gold and surf music.
I love California. I love it so much I can't wait to leave it and go back to the South. That's where my true roots are. Let's hear it for red states. And I am voting for Rand Cruiser.
Rand Cruiser. So that'd be Rand Paul. And it's that Cruz guy, Ted Cruz.
Yeah, the two of them. I want them to run together. And, you know, Rand Paul won the straw poll at that CPAC convention, so you know he's going to go far.
Yeah, he's won it several times now. Mark, he just wants him to win so that he has the cool name Rand Cruiser. Because he likes Jeeps. I seem to recall 4 years ago at the last election, you were really hoping that it would be Michelle Bachmann, so you could say Bachmann-Turner Overdrive.
Yeah, but rest assured, I won't be hoping for that this time.
That was an allusion to her stupid message she sent out to everybody when she quit her job. She said the phrase, rest assured, like 50 times.
Oh, she did?
Brewmaster's not a food snob.
No, Mike, I believe my knife should be as dull as possible, and I hate sushi.
Mark, I like sushi. I'll just take the fish and I fry it up in the pan, and it's great.
Was that another Jeff Foxworthy joke? We need to stop that. Next show, it's going to be part 3 of my Into an Interview with the great band Mullerette. Plus, we will hear from Madame Rutabaga Valentino and Bison Bentley. Mark, I'm going to go make us all some J-O. No, that's pronounced Jello. I'm confused.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com.
Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com.
See you tomorrow. Bye!